Rolls-Royce has just dropped a brand new model trim for the Spectre, and this is in fact the most powerful Rolls-Royce ever made, and it is the Spectre Black Badge. And I think it looks great in this purple hue or color that we have right here. So what we're going to do in this video is of course have a look at this design. They say it is the most powerful, but in today's day and age, specifically with EVs, the power numbers don't sound that impressive, but that's not what a Rolls is about. Come on, it's about the subtleness, the comfort, the smoothness, and that is why I think having a Rolls-Royce fully EV sort of makes sense because of just how smooth electric powertrains are today. So we're gonna have a look at this design from front, side, rear, the interior, which I have some new things in it in Photoshop, of course. But first of all, let's have a look at this article from Car Scoops. Gonna link it, of course, down in the description. So Spectre Black Badge is the most powerful Rolls-Royce ever created. The luxurious electric coupe can hit 0 to 60 in about 4.1 seconds. Again, doesn't sound that impressive, but you know, it's a fast car. It's a very, very heavy car. It is a Rolls-Royce. It's all about the comfort in this case. It has dual motor all-wheel drive system that can produce up to 650 horsepower and 793 pound-feet of torque. The model sports an assortment of other changes, including black accents, and you also have a massive, unique design for this Black Badge. 23 rollers on this thing, looking very cool. The first fully electric Black Badge model as well. So it's designed to be effortlessly intense, immediate, and precise. The Spectre Black Badge appears to have an upgraded dual motor all-wheel drive system that can now produce, as we talked about, 650 horsepower, 793 pound-feet of torque. That is 1,075 newton meters of torque. That's considerably more than the standard model that comes with 577 horsepower and 664 pound-feet of torque. So it's close, it's about 60-70 horsepower more than the standard version. 577 horsepower for the standard Spectre. Again, it just sounds like a very low number for a big heavy EV like this. It appears you can't get the full horsepower and torque output at the same time, and these type of things, when you have like a boost button or something like that, just give me all the power at all times. That is not that hard to do, and I probably want to have it available to me if I want it without having to press some sort of button. But that's the same case here with the Spectre Black Badge. So while the Rolls-Royce was annoyingly opaque, they noted the car has a new Infinity mode, which can be unlocked by pressing a button on the steering wheel, and that frees up all 650 horsepower to provide a more direct throttle response to the driver. So if you want to get the maximum torque output, you have to select spirited mode, and this is essentially launch control for the super rich. Spirited mode is activated by fully depressing the brake and throttle at the same time while at a stop. Of course, you don't want to do this on a highway. That could cause some serious accidents, of course, if you're going 70 and all of a sudden just want to do spirited mode and slam the brake and the accelerated at the same time. So once the car signals that it's ready, the torque output is temporarily increased to the full amount of 793 pound-feet of torque, and this enables the Spectre to accelerate 0 to 60 or 0 to 96 kilometers an hour in 4.1 seconds, 0.3 seconds faster than the regular model. And the model presumably has a 102 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack and should provide about 277 miles of range. Not class leading, but honestly I don't care, because this looks like a proper Rolls, and they didn't turn it into a bean. It still has a very upright, stately front end, which of course is not going to help the drag coefficient, but it is going to make it look a lot better, and it's going to reduce the range a little bit. So I always prefer that sacrifice. BMW has done the same with the i4 M50, where you can get the performance wheels in the back, again, remember the size of the rear tire, like 265s or 275s in the rear, 20-inch wheels, and that drops the range to only 220 miles for the i4 M50. But again, I think it's worth it because it looks extremely planted when you have that package on it. So styling changes for the Black Badge here are relatively minor, but the Black Badge rides on the 23-inch forged aluminum wheels that offer a two-tone or an all-black finish. go with the two-tone. It looks a lot better. Let's check that out. Let's check this out here. So we have the front view. Very, very clear. I love this color. It's just a very stunning, beautiful color. We do have, I would call this bumper headlights in the front end. Here you can see the big 23s. And 23s, even though it's massive wheels, they still look natural on this, and it doesn't look too big. I can't really see the wheel. Here we can see the two-tone wheels with the polished faces here. I think that looks a lot better than having it be in, you know, 100% black wheels. I think that's so outplayed these days. Bring back some color in the, what kind of image is this? Probably an artiste that took this photo. The car's traditional bright work, including the Spirit of Ecstasy, grille surround, window trim, and door handles, now has this darker finish, which personally I think looks better than chrome, even though I sort of think that chrome on a Rolls-Royce is suitable. It suits the Rolls-Royce to have a little bit of chrome on it. So new features and options include an illuminated grille backplate. Customers can also get the new Vapor Violet paint job, and that is what we see in these press photos here. An iced black hood and a waft coach line that resides on the lower third of the car. Not sure what that means exactly. The lower third of the car having a waft coach line. Let's see if we can see something what that means. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I think it's probably maybe the rocker panel is blacked out. Not entirely sure, but if you want that, you can get it for your new Black Badge. So inside, clients will find illuminated Black Badge tread plates, also sports an illuminated fascia, infinity logos, and technical fiber trim. The latter has a black Bolivar wood base that is topped by a diamond-shaped weave consisting of carbon and fine metal thread. That is what you get in a Rolls. And here you can see the interior. Let's check out some of the interior pictures here because I only found this one. And you can't clearly see what the interior is going on and what's going on in the interior here, but this is basically the only Black Badge press photo of the interior that I could find. The seats look stunning. I do like these stars up on in the ceiling. That very common for Rolls-Royce. You can also have it so that you can see shooting stars in the ceiling as well. Very, very fancy stuff. Gauge cluster look decent. Love the purple and the colors that we have in here. The graphics look super clean. And also, of course, all the materials. This is the back seat. You can see that we have a armrest for the back seat and how the seats wrap into the side of the rear end. So it's probably a very comfortable car even in the back seat. Since it is so huge, even though we just have two doors, still gonna be a very comfortable car. Before we jump into Photoshop, I want to show you the experience, what it's like to walk into a Rolls-Royce dealership and buy a bespoke Rolls-Royce. So check this video out. You have a bunch of different options. I think it's very cool to see.
I'm Nicozy Desegwart, and I am the Bespoke Regional Sales Manager for North America and Europe.
Hello,
Welcome
Nick.
to the Sir Henry Royce Atelier. It's our working space. It's where we bring our customers with a blank canvas to really commission and curate their bespoke Rolls-Royce motor car. First thing that we do when we come into this room is we start with looking at the exterior of the car. And the beauty of what we have in here are these speed forms that we have on the wall. This is just a sample of the colors that are available.
How hard would it be to pick one color for your Rolls-Royce? You really need to know exactly what it is you want. I mean, just look at the difference between these two shades here, these four shades. Like, which one do you go for? It's very, very hard to do. One of the most difficult choices, I think.
44,000 shades, and if you don't find one of those that takes your fancy, we can in fact make a new color specifically to you. The great thing about these is that they're actually interchangeable. So you can take a color, anyone that takes your fancy, so I'm a big fan of blue, and then we can open up these drawers. And in here, what you have is the lower half of the speed form, and it means that we can put them together to have a look and see what these two tones may look like. Now, what you
I do not like this spec right here. This does not look like a very well executed spec to me, but maybe on a real car it could look cool. Just looks a little strange.
Now, what you don't get immediately in this room is the idea of what it's going to look like at home. So this light is designed to emulate the colors all around the globe. What you'll be able to see here is we have quite a white, cold, cool light at the moment. So if we come back across traveling west, you'll gradually start to see that light.
That's crazy.
A little bit more yellow, be a little bit warmer, and we can bring this light down, and then we can really start to see the effect of the paint and actually what it's going to look like on your drive in California in the summer sun. The personalization starts on the outside beyond the color choice, and a lot of our customers like to leave a little motif or a little signature on the outside of the car.
I do like this Art Deco Rolls-Royce artwork that we have in the background. Looks very nice. I love the style of Art Deco. It's sort of the Batman vibe. And this is something that I want to have blown up right here in my office.
And that's usually within the coach line. So over here, what you can see are some of the designs that we've done in the past for our customers, working in a motif or an image or a picture into the coach line, linked to either the inspiration for the car or something personal to them. Once we've completed on the exterior of the car, then it's time to go to work on the inside. What you'll see over here are, again, just a flavor of the colors that are available by way of threads. Moving on to leather, you can see that we have a huge array. As I say, this is a working space, but there's a lot more to it than just the color of the leather.
A bunch of Art Deco designs there in the background. I love all of this. Look at this. These things down here, beautiful. Looks very, very, you know, Rolls-Royce-ish, New York City, Gotham City. Definitely want to see these in more detail.
More to it than just the color of the leather. What you'll see over here are actually different textures. So we work quite a lot with exotic leathers. That's everything from alligator, crocodile, all the way through to ostrich. It really brings a new dimension to the interior of the car. So moving past the choice of leather and leather colors, we enter back onto the topic of personalization. So this could be in the form of embroidery, so having your initials embroidered into the headrests, or having maybe a family crest design incorporated into the car. So here we have an example.
I'm going for the tiger.
Of a tiger linked to the Maharaja Tiger edition. Commissioning a Rolls-Royce motor car goes far beyond the selection of colors for the exterior and colors for the interior. It really is about an expression of oneself. And the beauty of that is really in the attention to detail. It could be small details, for example, bringing some color and life to the steering wheel, as you see here with this two-tone navy and mandarin. But one of my favorite features is actually bringing some personalization to the umbrella.
The legendary umbrella. Because you have a few choices of colors when it comes to the umbrella in the door. Very cool to see how you actually go about and spec a Rolls-Royce if you're ever in that fortunate position to be able to do that. Now, one thing I've loved doing ever since I was a kid is sketching. Over the years, I've taught thousands of students the art of design sketching using simple tools such as just a big pen, some print paper, and maybe a few markers. And now, I've bundled all my classes into one mega bundle of sketching madness called Analog Designer Pro Pack, and you can get instant access to all 11 hours of content for just $47. Inside, I'll teach you everything you need to know about design sketching, whether it be sketching cars or products, and I'll introduce you to my personal favorite sketching technique called cloud sketching that you won't find anywhere else. And this simplifies perspective sketching and how to get the proportions right, which is crucial when you're sketching cars or products. I'll take you from complete beginner to more advanced rendering techniques, and you don't need any special or expensive art supplies for this. See what my students have to say about this course and how it's helped them, and check it out yourself at analogdesignerpropack.com, linked down below. Let's jump into Photoshop here and check out the new Rolls-Royce Spectre Black Badge in this violet, I can't remember the name of the color, but this beautiful purple color. We do have a new grille here. You can see that this is now blacked out, and it looks like we have the backlit for the grille itself is now purple as well. I'm not sure if that is, I think maybe they said in the article that this is sort of a backplate that is the color of the car itself behind these ribs that we have here. This is, of course, I don't think this is open for cooling right here. The only thing that I don't like about this front end is this radar sensor down there. This looks to be the exact sensor that we find on a bunch of BMWs, but other than that, the front end of the Spectre, I think it's a beautiful looking machine. We do have this long hood, and as I said, it doesn't look at all like an EV. Just look at these sharp lines that we have going in here. I also like the daytime run light being just one single LED like this, and then you have the main headlight sitting all the way down here inside of, I wouldn't call this a bumper headlight. I mean, it sits a little bit higher up than the bumper because the bumper is all the way down here, clearly defined as you can see. I love the framing that we have for the front fascia as well, and this very abrupt baseline for the Spectre. It creates a nice foundation for the entire graphics of the car to just build upon above it. And we also have a clear separation of the top half graphics with the bumper right here and the lower half graphics down there underneath that specific line. Now looking at the side view here, this of course being a massive coupe, I do like the Black Badge more than the regular one because you can see all the features, graphics around the greenhouse here, for example, are all blacked out, and this shoulder line looks beautiful. We have one single shoulder line that goes all the way down here into these graphics, the door handles, and then all the way back and dips right before he wraps around the rear end and creating the top piece for the rear end graphics. We also have, of course, the sloping roof line, typical for Rolls-Royce, looking beautiful, and this line that is sort of a, it reminds me of a boat line, to have this going upwards from a narrower stance down here to a wider height in the front end. Normally, as I've said before, this line usually goes the opposite way, so it goes from low in the front and then swings higher the farther back we go, but in this case it is the opposite, and it gives me a little bit of some yacht vibes, and maybe that is the idea. I could see how that could be the idea for the Rolls-Royce. Now looking at the rear end, there's these taillights. Honestly, I'm not a fan of these taillights. The reason being is they feel like they are just an external part. They're not integrated in the body, or they just sit and stick out very far from the body. I want to have it sit more flush with the bodywork, and if we're going to have it like this, I want to have some sort of framing going around the taillight to make it feel like it's part of the design and not just some, you know, random piece that they just glued onto the flat surface of the rear end, if that makes sense. But look at this line right here, the roof line, and how this goes down and creates this very sharp line in the rear end that goes all the way down here, and then of course into this Rolls-Royce trunk bump that we're used to seeing from Rolls-Royce. They always have this bump in the rear end, and I do think it looks beautiful. I also like the lower section because we have this black piece cutting in and creating a very aggressive diffuser in the lower section, and this graphic then continues into the side view here as well. Massive 23-inch rollers on the Black Badge, looking fantastic. I do think it suits the car to have these type of wheels. Maybe they're a little bit too complex in the styling, but overall I do think they look pretty good, and thankfully you can have them in not just black. Even though it is the Black Badge, you can still have it with this polished face like we have right there, which is again something that I would definitely go for. Now this is interesting. I've said this in many videos before, but I said that the cheapest cars on sale today and the most expensive cars, they have something in common, and that is that both segments still uses physical knobs and dials in the interior, and that goes for the Spectre as well. You can see the beautiful control panel down here, and just a classic layout of this interior. A center console that goes right here, and then boom, into the dash itself. There's really no smooth transition between these two, and we don't really need that. This is the type of interiors that I personally prefer to have. Just a classic layout of the interior. You can see that we have a screen here for the passenger, analog clock, beautifully done, and you also have the infotainment screen, very well integrated and almost hidden inside of this dashboard up top, with this beautiful flow and the ambient lighting going all around the interior, and beautiful, I'm not sure what this is. This is carbon fiber, probably some type of carbon fiber in a gloss finish for this section, and beautiful vents as well, traditionally laid out. Everything looks stunning, and this is an interior that you definitely want to jump in and smell and feel and touch all the small little details, just feel the quality when you're moving these pieces around. The vents, the dials here, and these temp controls look like something that came out of the 50s, and I love to see that. It's such a beautiful looking interior, and a lot of craftsmanship went into this design. So cool job by Rolls-Royce to bring out the first ever all-electric Black Badge, and I don't think it could have gone to any other car deservingly than the Spectre right here, specifically in this beautiful violet color that we have. Stunning looking machine inside and out.